like Savana was the first app on App Store
Yeah.
above Facebook, and like that screenshot is a memorable screenshot for me. How we build Urbanic and how it is different than all of the brands is because we clearly wanted to focus on the quality.
Okay.
We entered the market with the consumer itself. We didn't do celebrity collaborations. We didn't do anything. Our community is everything for us, and our community is what something which drives our messaging. I think that this generation is like very misunderstood.
Welcome back to Flamcast, a space where we dive into all things mixed reality, marketing, and the craft behind creating unforgettable brand experiences. Today, we are joined by Rahul, the co founding partner of Urbanic and Savana. Rahul has played a pivotal role in redefining fashion for millennial and Gen Z in emerging markets. Welcome to the podcast, Rahul.
Thank you so much.
I have been a big fan of Urbanic and Swana, and I do own a lot of pieces from both the platforms. And I must say that I really love the aesthetic and the style that they bring to the table.
Thank you so much because it's always good to talk to a happy customer because I do it quite often. So I think this would be like more interesting than anything else because you already have used Urbanic and you really like the clothing and all that stuff. So I think, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So, can you tell us more about the audience that you serve through Urbanic and Swana?
So Urbanic, we believe in psychographics.
Hmm.
There we have not been focusing a lot on demographics because what I think is with this globalization, the perspective of everyone, like not everyone who was like a 50-year-old a few years back is not as same as what a 50-year-old is right now.
Yeah.
So it's the vibe which everyone is looking for because again the penetration of internet is so fast and so quick that you could see a lot of changes in like I come from a tier 3 city. So I could see some bits and pieces of tier 1 now in tier 3 as well.
Okay.
So then we think it in a very psychographic way. So we want to do it something for everyone. And like Gen Z was like our driving force because
Okay.
again it's a very digital driven generation.
Okay.
So that was someone who helped us to actually grow in the market. But our audience is equally divided in different age groups, and divided in different tiers of the cities as well.
I want to understand how this journey has happened for you. How did you made a decision to start a D2C fashion brand?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. So I had some different plans in my life. Again, that's for another discussion because again that goes. It's a long story to it, but yeah, I met James through a few of my friends in Milken
Okay.
Institute, and James had more people with him with a very strong tech background and understanding of the tech, and he wanted to do something with emerging markets.
Okay.
Why the idea interests me is because emerging market is a right place to grow at that time because the internet penetration was super high. It's very good to tap to the newer audience, and when internet is growing in the country, there is a chunk of newer audience coming on the platform,
Okay.
and for a newer brand, this newer audience becomes a very good audience to tap in because again they are new to the platform, they will discover new brands, they'll discover new things, and also they'll discover new trends, consume a lot of content. So according to everything, this idea of focusing on emerging markets really hit my mind. um, I'm an engineer but I've not done anything as an engineer, but again the tech angle of the business attracted me as well because we are going to focus on tech a lot to
Okay.
solve a lot of problems in the fashion industry,
Okay.
in the consumer industry. So to understand the consumer better, be very highly predictive, to understand the whole supply chain and everything in a very systematic manner, and
Hmm.
put a lot of technology behind the scenes instead of in the forefront. So I always see a lot of content going on, like even I being a photographer, I would be very happy to see tech doing things which I don't like to do rather than doing things which I like to do. So again, this also like I really like that stuff, and then we started testing things in India and all that stuff, and that time we didn't have a name, so I came up with this name, thinking on the lines, because when I saw the kind of idea we have for technology, it was very futuristic.
Yeah.
And urban is a word which I really liked, and I was trying to actually find a lot of combination with urban as a word. So I was able to find Urbanic. There was a domain name available. There was a trademark available. So we quickly grabbed it, and because it has a good name to it, it has a good ring to it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought like, and also it's a very globally accepted word.
Yeah.
Because if you see, a lot of brand names have a very regional acceptations, because uh, it has been formed thinking about that regional activity, and urban is a word which is adapted globally. So I thought like Urbanic is the best name. It doesn't have any gender. It doesn't have any specific idea towards like a particular category.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite wide, quite interesting.
There are
So
no
that,
notions attached to it, I think. Yeah, it is quite open. There are no notions,
yeah,
preconceived
yeah,
notion that is
yeah, yeah,
attached to it.
yeah.
So yeah.
The only notion is like, your future, you're bright.
Yeah.
You're cool, and that's what we wanted to be. So I thought like it's the best thing to do, and yeah, that's how it started, and that's how I was a very important part of the business, a very important part of this brand.
Okay.
And then I changed all my plans, which I would have discussed later on. But yeah, but then it was a journey. Then it was a journey from 0 to 1 million, 0 to millions of customers.
20 million customers.
20 million plus customers now.
Yeah.
Actually, you can
Yeah.
consider 25 million.
Wow.
From an Instagram from page from a zero, like opening, like making the page to having 1 million followers on our India page, 2 millions on our global page. So yeah, it's and that journey is like what we are going to speak about.
Yeah.
In
So what is how is Urbanic different from Savana? Like what are the different markets or the cohorts that you are addressing through two different platforms?
so Urbanic is focusing more on a like a dedicated collection, more on a refined collection, where Savannah is more wider.
Okay.
Savannah is more limitless. Savannah is more number of items, so that like we can learn on the geography more better. And Urbanic has catered it. Like if you see, Urbanic is very popular for dresses, for the party collections and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So when you see Savannah has more colorful stuff. We are going to have a very interesting knit campaign right now for Savannah. We have specific collections for denims. We have shifted all our sportswear in Savannah,
Okay.
because we realized that it's a very good market for the sports collection as well.
Okay.
And we had a very good feedback on Savannah sports. So
Okay.
so yeah, so it's a brand hand on hand together, but also like Urbanic focuses more on this particular segment. But
And
yeah,
Savannah is more white.
Savannah is more wider. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying that the first was awareness and the second was listening to the
Yeah.
customers, and you entered the market with the consumer.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So entering in the, so for an example, like if you want to endorse a brand or do something like that,
Yeah.
you will pick the best celebrity of the country and try to launch the brand through a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
What we did is we picked a bunch of really
Nano
cool
influencers.
like I can say consumer who would shop from Urbanic. We built a very small community for them, where we learn from that at what kind of products they are consuming and all that stuff. And that community is in larger is
Okay, understood.
our Urbanic squad.
Okay.
And like the numbers for the squads are so amazing. And then still we are there, like we do so many community events, the gatherings. I used to take photography sessions myself, and community stands first for me, and which is truly because 3 members of my team are hired from the community. So
Oh,
from the community, they did internship with Urbanic for 6 months, and now
wow.
they are a part of my team. They will stay with me for like years now. But
Wow.
so I never went to another department to for my hiring. Like rather, like everything was in
Yeah.
the community itself.
Wow.
So that's how we entered the market, with being very, very one of them. And like it's like it's not like you have to be very distinctive to the consumer to
No,
build a very fashion expression and all that stuff. You can be
absolutely.
with them and then also create something.
According to a report from Business Insider, Gen Z has approximately $360 billion disposable income. So they often, even then, they often look for discounts, deals, and value for money.
Yeah.
So, how has this created a selling framework for Urbanic? and other brands which are selling to Gen Z?
So I think definitely discount attracts people, especially if you're selling online. But with this fact, we try to change a framework, but then later we realize that we don't have to change a framework
Okay.
because value for money is something which is a right of consumer. What you provide has to be a value for money,
Yeah.
and that's what our like promises to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we will make sure that we provide you something which is valued for your money, and
Mm-hmm.
we stopped focusing on doing a lot of discounting is like cut the price and do this and do that. We
Yeah.
started focusing on being a very fairly valued price
Okay.
because we had people to communicate this. We had our community helping us communicate this, and that's how we didn't change a lot of framework to it. And I think it actually works, and it works because as we also mentioned that authenticity and transparency is what consumer is looking for.
Looking for, yeah.
And wha- my idea is like to not focus so much on that direction rather than communicate in a more transparent way to help them understand, rather than having just a framework of discounting, having rather just a framework of
Yeah.
like pushing things.
Yeah.
I would like people to come to me in order rather than me just being on their face and pushing, because I get angry sometimes as well when I'm using an app or like I see a pop-up messages like it's okay.
60% off, 70% off.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'll come to you. Like if you are a brand which is surrounded with a lot of content around me, I'll
Mhm.
definitely come to you. So we focus on those angles more than specifically focusing on this framework.
Okay. Moving on, we spoke about personalization in consumer journey, including uh, product recommendations and past behavior, their preferences of the product, so on and so forth. How have you made sure that hyper personalized communication and shopping experience are optimized for you, for your customer?
So this hyper personalization comes up with a lot of data.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we started our company, we had a very clear idea in mind that we have to solve problems with data. And this data is not exactly what's your name or where do you live. This data is a cumulative of lot of information like what products you might have liked, what products you have returned, what price point you like, what kind of fit you like, what kind of stuff you are doing, what are your surrounding people are doing, what are that geography is looking at, what is that country looking at, what sizing preferences.
Okay.
There's so many examples, there are so many data. For an example, like the t-shaped bikinis works in Latin American market, but then in India we don't wear t-shaped bikinis and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So I think everyone is trying to do it. Everyone is trying to build a personalization algorithm. It's just like we are one of the best at it because we are like that's our base. That's how we actually not only use this for the consumer journey but also use it for our designers, for our manufacturers to have a very real time data on what to do next.
We also spoke about Gen Z being very vocal about their experiences with the brand, whether it's a good experience or a bad experience. So it could act as an opportunity or a threat to the company.
Yeah.
But it has considered to be a boom for you, considering you have hyperscaled to a 20 million plus customers
Yeah.
already.
So the very important thing about Gen Z is because it's like also also my very personal point of view.
Hmm.
I think that this generation is like very misunderstood because
Okay.
I've been around a lot of people who keep talking about Gen Z audiences like that, Gen Z audiences like that, Gen Z, and I was like, okay, you know, man, like someone told me that Gen Z are very pretentious, they live in a fake world, and
Ah,
I was like, no, I don't think so.
yeah.
Uh, I think I told them like in my college, I used to have same thoughts.
Mhm.
Like if I like your top, I might think like, oh, you're wearing a nice top. I'll just walk by.
Mhm.
But they are very expressive.
Expressive.
So they will
Yeah.
be like, oh my God, this top is so pretty. You look so beautiful today. It makes your day. It makes me vocal. It
Mm.
makes me expressive.
Yeah.
So if I want to tap the audience, if I misunderstand them by being pretentious and fake, I think it's unfair because they are being expressive.
Yeah.
And that's how, because also this digital generation have been developed in that you see consume the content through comments, so you're expressive, so that's why it's an inbuilt. So that's what I said, like like maybe you don't know. So it also belongs my team. Like everyone, I keep reading that it's difficult to work with Gen Z. And I was like, for me, it has been the best thing to do. Like we have so much fun in office. We have so many things to do. We share so many experiences about our life,
Yeah.
and it's never in my life. I don't think any Gen Z has like told me like I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. It's like they are part of it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's an
So
alarm. I think it's
reaching out to Gen Z is one thing, creating experiences is one thing for them, but making them purchase your product, making them spend for your product is another thing. So there is I've read that you have a Gen Z marketing team who are selling to Gen Z.
yeah.
How has that been for you?
So, as we said, like we started with the consumer.
Yeah.
That's how is our team as well.
Hmm.
So, it's a very interesting fact that everyone thinks that Gen Z knows the audience.
Hmm.
That's why it's better to have Gen Z in your team.
Yeah.
Definitely, it gives a perspective. But the thing is, like being in industry for a very long time, Gen Z not only understand the audience, but they understand the channel. So
Yeah.
everything is marketed through a channel. So I'm marketing through social media. So if I'm marketing to social media, they are so quick to adapt that structure, and that execution becomes so faster because they know it how, when, where, how, and that execution becomes so smoother. The understanding becomes so smoother, and this whole ecosystem doesn't only focus on Gen Z. Like for me, like all the audiences are very similar.
Yeah.
It flows into a psychographic.
Hmm.
So uh, like 45% of our followers on Instagram is 25 to 34.
Okay, they're all Gen Z then.
Yeah, and for the rest of them are Gen Z. So this also an ecosystem. So I'll tell you like how do I find all this stuff as well. I'm very interested in focus group discussions. And
Yeah.
you know how I actually started doing it is we hired a so and so agency for a focus group discussion, and they has to record. So I was like, okay, it's so interesting. Like it's a 2 hour video to see and what they might be talking about. So first of all, they called a bunch of young people in an office with a round table,
Hmm.
and there is like multiple cameras set up there. And I was like, how will they actually do it? And then I was like, I'll shift that in house. I was like, I want to do it myself. It's such an interesting stuff to
Yeah.
speak to your consumer,
Yeah.
and I don't want to outsource this.
Yeah.
First, I did is I changed the location.
Okay.
I was like, if you want to meet them, meet at the best restaurant because observation, like some answers you have to observe. You don't
Yeah.
have to ask things. Like I was like, don't. I'm not gonna ask you what is your age and all that stuff. It's like all those answers. Like I'm here to know you. I'm here to talk to you.
Yeah.
So when they come to a dedicated place, like if do they all dress similarly? Is everyone wearing a dress? Do everyone has a different style? Because the location is same, right? So everyone has the same perception for that location. I want to also observe like how much they are investing in dressing up for this.
Dressing
Like
up. Yeah.
if they're investing in the dressing up, what kind of dressing up?
Yeah.
What kind of colors? What kind of stuff? Because that is
Wow.
what how my research starts from. And then I sit with them, talk to them. I realize, and also the database I picked was very different. I
Hmm.
picked a certain particular kind of clothing instead of top consumers or this city consumers or that city consumers. I picked up people who shop bikini, like
So
born and bought.
different
Yeah,
perspective.
born and bought up in this country. I know that you cannot just walk around on bikinis here,
Yeah.
but there are so many people who are shopping bikinis. Either they are traveling abroad or something like that. So I met them. Spoke to them. I understood them really well. Then I spoke to certain segments where they are shopping more blazers. Exactly, like people who came to me with those blazers were like different age group. I met someone, she was a fitness instructor, 50 plus, a very
Okay.
fit body, but such a huge consumer of Urbanic. She got to know about the brand through her daughters. So that's ecosystem between the mom and the daughter in the India. So my Gen Z has become my voice, but it's not only reaching Gen Z. Gen Z is also reaching to all sorts of audience because they are the one who are making the content, but consuming content is consumed by all kind of audiences.
Correct.
So when you say like I was never building a Gen Z brand, I was building a brand for everyone.
Yeah.
Gen Z has always helped me to penetrate the market much faster way because they are very quick to make.
They're
Uh,
very vocal also, very quick also. Yeah.
yeah, and it's very interesting that this is how like we in our families we have seen like your mom might have recommended you a brand for sure.
Yeah.
You might have recommended a brand from
Yeah.
mom for sure, and that's how like when I started meeting them, it was such an interesting term. It helps me to get more ideas for the campaign. It helps me to get or, and again, my research of this is so different than any agency would have made. My understanding of the consumer is so different. We can click pictures. Not only that, I also observe the food choices. How many people are opting for the veg? How many people are opting for vegan? How many people are opting for like alcoholic drinks, non-alcoholic drinks? Do my consumer drink? Do my consumer is vegan? So it was all lost in that.
But how does that impact the choice of dressing, like the eating habit?
So everything doesn't impact your choice of purchase, but it impacts how do you communicate. So it
Understood. Yeah.
impacts what kind of content, what kind of granularity I have to go when I
Go
create a
into.
content.
Mm-hmm.
Because content is a very interesting piece for me.
Yeah.
Like more than fashion, because content moves.
Apart from what you talked about inclusion for Gen Z, you have another tool which is AI.
Hmm.
How are you using AI to personalize experiences for your customers?
So as I mentioned, like AI helps us with understanding the data really well, understanding the whole process really well. AI is helping us to actually reduce the cost to what we are able to provide right now, because it helps us to reduce the dead stock on a very uh, handsome number. For the personalization experience, we are able to actually help people to get things faster and
Mm-hmm.
of the vibe they like in a very easy manner, without getting them into like a lot of trouble, or like getting into like to explore a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And it's like it's also helps. It also help us being very highly predictive. We try to understand like what people are talking about and what people are doing. So like basically, an example from the past, we had this silk scarf top. We saw this trend top popping on an internet of making a top from a scarf, making a top from a scarf.
Yeah.
We designed something which was a silk scarf top, and I would have seen that scarf with so many people. Like I was in Goa that time, and I was like, "This is Urbanic. This is Urbanic." It was so much fun to see that. And again, like this is because of the technology, we could react to anything so fast.
Okay. Since we are on the topic of AI, at Flam, we have been creating mixed reality experiences for brands across touch points like OH, print, digital, and TV as well.
Yeah.
And we do turn ads into a more immersive experience for the customers. So now I want to understand from you, if you have to do an ad with an immersive experience for your customer, for Gen Z customer with mixed reality, how do you think Gen Z would react to such kind of ads?
I think if it executed very interestingly and nicely, it's an amazing tool to do. I would give you a very simple example of that. Like listen to a reel on a mute. It will be a very different experience than listening to that music on a speaker, because now this is an immersive experience of music and or like the visuals together gives you like a very altogether different experience. So that's how like this is the one step further, that like you are getting more immersive, you are getting more things to interact. So if it's executed interestingly, I think the audience is gonna react to it we will learn more things, we will get more engagement, will help them learn about us also in more immersive experience.
I think there's a lot of data that you capture when you give such experiences to the customer, because you can see how many people have interacted, what are the demographics of those people, from where, what was the duration, so on and so forth. A lot of heat maps also gets generated.
For sure.
So I think in a way it helps brands who are doing traditional way of marketing as well, and who are doing modern way of marketing like digital as well. So Rahul, I wanted to understand another thing. The campaign, since we are talking about the ads and the campaigns that we are doing and you have done a Savana incredible ₹1 campaign. So what was that all about?
So that's one of the best campaign of my life, because that campaign comes out from a word limitless.
Okay.
So we were sitting in a room and thinking that what can we do to be limitless, because Savana is limitless. So we were thinking a lot of stuff, and I'm really surprised that campaign is executed in 48 hours.
Wow.
And that
and did you come up with the idea of ₹1?
It was a team idea. So we were discussing a lot of things on limitless. There were a lot of things. When you go limitless, like, there were a lot of things we were talking about being limitless, right? So Then we came up with this, and also like our understanding with virality, content, engagement, platform is really good. So we have a community with us all the time.
Yeah.
So we were able to execute, like we had like 8 to 10 people from our community jumping on with us to work on this, and in 48 hours we executed such a viral campaign. So coming out from the limitless also was this one thing, like we always were very keen on doing something for the society from a very start. Like when Urbanic
Okay.
started, from then we were doing something like Urbanic Digital School, sponsoring education of so many people from the multiple NGOs.
Oh, okay.
We were teaching people digital and English, because we think that like not only focusing on just basic needs, we should also encourage them to study and also give them access to this. India is being digital, like the government is actually focusing on digital India. So we thought
Yeah.
like we should actually use our old laptops and stuff to people to like try those digital stuff, learn that stuff. I went to the school once and I had a very interesting experience where people were wanted to be content creators and all that stuff. So that's what I see. So we wanted to do something for the society. We thought like everything we generate, like 1 rupee can be like 1 rupee for everyone, but we wanted to show that how much impact it can actually create. And that's why we decided that everything we earn from this campaign will go to an NGO, and we donated
Okay.
1 million to the NGO.
Wow.
And the whole facts of this campaign was like the first day our website crashed
Yeah.
in first 5 minutes, and it was like on the whole social media. My friends were sending me pictures of like it's 8:30, and she sent me a video of the gym. Everyone is like, the whole gym is stopped. Everyone is on their phone like this, like this, like this. There are so many content. Is like, I don't know what's wrong with my girlfriend as she's sitting in front of a phone. There are 5 phones. There are videos saying how to shop in Savannah's 1 rupee campaign, and I was like, it's just launched, and like there are videos on YouTube to how to shop from Savannah's campaign. So we had a lot of people to quickly actually help people as well.
Yeah.
Then we started posting things on stories like, don't come, like we are doing something. Then second day we fixed everything with the website didn't crash. Now people were able to go through payment gateway. The payment gateway crashed. So we got calls from banks and like our partners that what are you guys doing, because will face issues with all other clients as well, because it's the traffic is so hard. So you could see the post on our page, like we stopped the sale for half an hour. It's like, wait, like let us get ready. And we were continuously posting comments. It's like, don't come on the same time. We have a dedicated inventory for everyone. Because again, because we come from a very data driven stuff, we had taken care of a lot of things when it comes to double ordering and all that stuff. We wanted this experience to come to a lot of people and be part of this 1 rupee,
Okay.
one impact campaign.
So you said about viral campaigns. Shareability has to be there for the campaign. How do you ensure that you create viral campaigns? Also, do not lose the relatability and the storytelling, consistent storytelling from the brand.
Yeah. So again, like it comes with the whole study of what is actually happening in that particular time period, because every strategy is a good strategy. You also have to actually understand a lot of time dynamics of strategies. Like you might have heard like a lot of people saying he was ahead of time, because strategies are amazing, but sometimes they're ahead of time. So you just have to understand all the aspects of it. Definitely give a lot of time in understanding the platform, because every platform works in a very different way. In spite of being an overlap, it has a different way.
Okay.
Virality is very subjective. It had always a gray area to it. But then there are certain formulas which we have developed in house. There are certain things which we have developed in house, which help us bucketing it. So our content structure is so huge. There are so many buckets of the content structure that everything has a call to action to it.
Okay.
And that call to action is not necessarily always purchase.
Then?
It's the bucket's title.
Okay.
Like what that bucket, that content falls into
Yeah.
is exactly what we're trying to do. And it's very difficult
But
to see.
isn't it 90% purchase only and then rest
Not for the content, because
for the content?
yeah, no, yeah, because content is like to do something with your consumer, to talk to them. And that's not the only relationship we have with them. Like you come to shop, we always consider like that human value of interaction with the
Yeah,
consumer.
that is important actually to build brand loyalty as well.
Yeah, because again, with the brand of so many young people, we are able to do it because we value it. Like
Yeah.
purchase, so we are very good
हो
with
जाएगा.
numbers. हो रहा है,
Yeah.
सब कुछ हो रहा है. But so like let's interact with them. Let's make
A real
some
bond
real
or
bond.
a trust with them, with the brand. Rahul, since you have spoken so much about community and how important it is for Urbanic and Savana, I want to understand some key things that helped you to make such a strong community for Urbanic and Savana.
Formulate things.
Anything like you think that is like absolute necessary if you have to build a strong community.
Okay. So, strategize your community planning in a very good way. So,
Okay.
I'll give you an example again. Like I talk a lot of things with example because that's
Yeah,
how
it's relatable also.
relatable.
Yeah.
So, I was having a meeting in my team, and I asked them, "What would you do to build a good community?" So,
Hmm.
a person said, "I'll be friendly with everyone,"
Hmm.
and I was like, "That's exactly what you don't have to do." Because if you be friendly with 100 people, you will not be able to maintain the friendship, and after some point of time they will feel sad about it because you were friendly when you had some.
रेसिप्रोकेट नहीं हो रहा
हाँ
है.
कि लाइक तुमको काम था तो तुमने अच्छा रह लिया, तुम कैसे 100 लोगों से फ्रेंडशिप मेंटेन करोगे?
Okay.
सो इन कम्युनिटी everyone has a connecting factor. You find that.
Hmm.
Drive your communication in a way that they are getting something out of it,
Okay.
which is valuable to them. It's
Okay.
not money. It's not. You have to find a common factor, then formulate it and make strategies in a way that you have. So our community management process is a very detailed process where we have leads, where we have someone taking care of the certain things, where they have something another thing. We have segregation of community in like mathematically from the back end on the nano creators, micro creator, macro creator. Every creator is important.
Yeah.
Mega creators are important as well. Everyone keeps saying that nano is the best. It's like uh, understand the whole dynamics of this stuff. Every campaign has a different goal, exactly how every campaign has a different kind of stuff. So every community stuff has a different kind of understanding. So you have to actually uh, build it. The best thing to do is like find a very common factor between them and then try to make sure that you are delivering it to them.
If Rahul, someone comes to you and they have to build a brand for Gen Z, what is the piece of advice that you would give to them?
I would say don't assume things, don't overthink a lot, and try to speak and try to understand the consumer.
Mhm. Okay, very nice. This was such a fun session, Rahul. We had such a fun session having you here
Thank
at
you so much.
Flamcast. Thank you so much for coming, and we learned so much about Gen Z and Urbanic and Swana.
Good to add value to your podcast, and it was a very interesting session for me as well to talk about what we go through every day. And yeah, it was completely fun.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Rahul.
much.
Hope you really liked this episode. We have more such exciting, fun conversations coming up. Stay tuned.